Hello friends, it's time for another Good to Know Monday tip. I titled today's video tip, How to Live Like Our Best Selves. The greatest lever you and I can use to leverage the power within us is the pain that comes from inside, not from outside. Knowing that you have failed to live up to your own best standards that you've set for yourself and for your life should be the ultimate pain. When we fail to act in accordance with our own best view of ourselves, if our behaviors are inconsistent with our personal standards, that identity we hold of ourselves, then the chasm between our actions and who we really want to be must become a driving force that makes us want to change and start to live like our best selves. One of the strongest forces in the human personality is the drive to preserve the integrity of our own identity, who we know and think we are. Only when we realize ourselves that we are being inconsistent to that identity, we will release the leverage of the plus factor within us, which then we can use to make the changes we need to make. The law of the plus factor only makes its appearance in a person's life in proportion to how well that person is living in harmony with the laws of alignment as they exist in the universe. Complacency breeds stagnation, doesn't it? Only until you're extremely dissatisfied with your current pattern of behavior will you be motivated to make the changes that are necessary to succeed. And those changes are made when we follow the laws of alignment, which, when followed, will bring about the success we want. Let's face it, the human animal naturally responds to pressure and pain, period. Ask yourself, why don't people change when they know they should? Well, the answer is they naturally imagine the pain they'll experience when they consider making the changes needed to succeed to be more painful than the pain they'll experience if they just pursue their dreams for success, or if they don't pursue them. To change ourselves, we must preserve or reverse this way of thinking about pain so that what we experience or even think when we do not change is far more painful, even beyond our threshold of tolerance, than doing what it takes to change. In other words, thinking the idea of changing is far more attractive and pleasurable than the idea of not changing. And when we change our thinking by asking ourselves pain-inducing questions that can become a lever for making changes in our lives. For example, what will it cost me if I don't change? What will my lost opportunity cost me? And so on. Estimating the price of not changing is more powerful than estimating the cost of changing. Make the pain of not changing so intense in your mind, so immediate and overwhelming that you find that you can't put off taking action to avoid that pain any longer. Next is to use pleasure-associating questions to help you link those newfound positive sensations that you imagine will come when you make the change to the idea of changing itself. For example, if I do change, how will that make me feel about myself and feel about my future? How will others see me? How will I see myself? And so on. Ronald Reagan said, we must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker being guilty. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his or her own actions. The point of this quote expressed here is that we need to follow the first step to success, which I've taught is to get honest with ourselves and accept our responsibility for bringing about the changes we want in our personal lives. We need to come up with lots of reasons, or better yet, come up with strong enough reasons for why the change in ourselves has to take place immediately and not someday in the future. I had a little time to watch a series called Life of Football, and then some Hall of Famer football player like Gale Sayers or Earl Campbell or Brett Favre and so on. These 45-minute movies of the life of these players have been incredible to watch. Each of these Hall of Famers were able to release the power of the plus factor within them, even through the hard times, especially because of the hard times they faced. They found how to make the changes they needed so that they could succeed beyond their original dream of who they wanted to become. It was so fascinating to watch these stories. Every story basically said, if we are not driven to make the change now, like Michael Jackson saying, make the change, he sang that song, then we won't really have any leverage to help us move the world and make the change we want to make. In short, they had yet to tap the power of the plus factor that lay within them until they got their thinking right. The key to tapping into this power lay in their desire for wanting to live like their best selves. You hear that story told by them over and over again. That's the common factor in all of them. Now, before I let you go, let me take just a moment to invite you to have a private coaching call with me at no charge. In fact, I've got a 3 slots left in my private focus group that I'm just running in the first part of September. If you didn't hear about that, it's a year's free coaching for free. It's getting access to everything. It's personal one-on-ones a month for 12 different months. Everything that I offer is free if you participate as a participant in my focus group. And that link is found, I'll send that out to, so those who want to do that can click that link for a free coaching call with Coach B, and I'll set up the time to have you join that focus group if the 10 haven't been selected. But you got to act fast because there's only going to be 10 slots. And like I said, there's a 3 of those left. So hurry, and those who want to do it now. Okay, I'm done with the invitation. So until next Monday, when we send out our next Good to Know Monday tip, I want you all to know that I love the success principles that help drive us to our life that we want. And so I wish you all continued success. Goodbye.